after my third and fourth take of this, I was really gonna walk away and be like, forget it. I'm just done. I won't upload anything anymore. But I have so many ideas. I'm always just like texting them to myself. I'm gonna go eat my emotions right now.
It's time
for another discussion here on TSP. I'm Dr. Evil Genius.
I'm Captain Paul. What's going on?
Yeah, man. We haven't really put out a lot of content as consistently as we would like. And I ended up coming across a video from a fantastic YouTuber. And it was one of the more impactful videos I've seen. I mean, it was definitely a sad video to see, but definitely very impactful because of the difficulties that I could kind of commiserate with when thinking about everything that goes into content creation. And you have a very successful hockey channel, and with some of the more personal issues that you've had, you've seen how difficult it is to continue to pump out the same volume of content.
Yeah I think it's when you're kind of going through something, whether it be within the family, emotionally, mentally, like anything, it's very difficult to keep creating content and stay in that same headspace.
Yeah, it's I think when you're going through things in life, the normal workload feels like it doubles or triples when something is going on in your life. And it's like, man, sometimes even if nothing is going on in your life, as with me, it's very difficult. It's so difficult to kind of stay in the game mentally, to continue to pump out content on a regular basis. I don't think that people really understand how difficult it is to create content on a regular basis. They think we just get in front of the camera and run our yap and that's it. But there's a lot of like mental conditioning you have to do. There's a lot of research on the topic so you don't sound like a complete fucking buffoon.
Yeah, I mean, which we specialize in that part, but I think when it kind of comes down to it, a lot of it is the mental aspect of making content, and sometimes just not making content just to make content. You want to make something that you're proud of, and I feel like that can also be a little bit, that can be its own problem. If you don't want to release content because you don't like it, or if you're too much of a perfectionist, that is also a problem. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of hurdles to content creation, whether it just even be talking, and we've made a lot of videos that have never even been released. And then we've just had these times where we bum, shout out to Clinks, you bum. But I think when it kind of comes down to it is that, quite frankly, there's going to be some times when you're going through shit in life and you're like, yeah, I don't want to be making content right now. I don't want to be talking about things like that. And that's what kind of made this whole video that we are going to be talking about very interesting to see, because I think we can both come at it from a very kind yet different perspective.
Right, yeah. And also, I think that there's some lessons to be learned about handling adversity in life. We're going to bring on a special part of our TSP team because this part of the team actually knows this YouTuber and his content that we're going to be discussing today. And I think that everybody loves this part of our team on TSP. We are talking about Mrs. Evil. What's good?
Hello there.
Oh man, I thought we were gonna bring on Clinks for a second. Then I forgot he doesn't have a webcam and he's British, so he doesn't fight. So that's crazy.
He's gonna see the audio part only.
Yeah.
Spotify podcast.
He'll be muttering for a bit and edit it in 10 years from now. But I think it's good to have you on, and so shoot, I think this is gonna be a very interesting conversation. I think it'll be very engaging as well.
I really want to get your perspective, your personal perspective, as someone who we'll say is very, very new to the content creation space. I mean, you've guest hosted some of our shows. You've been a guest co-host. You have been a commentator on a couple of videos, even though content creation is really nothing that you've really aspired to. Can you talk about some of the difficulties that you've had, both, you know, before agreeing to become a contributor, and after?
Yeah, I think for me, since I am a very shy person who does not like to be in front of the camera or be in the spotlight whatsoever, even if it's just with a group of people, I'll probably be the silent one in the group, just because I'm totally fine with blending in the background and listening to what people are saying. It's been difficult to be on camera, but I've gotten a little more comfortable and used to it because I know that the end goal is to help you guys out and to get more subscribers. So it sort of helps me get through the nerves. And sometimes just holding on to an object, like as I'm holding on to now, helps with the nerves. So, you know, I have my own difficulties with being in front of the camera and managing it. But if I were doing my own YouTube channel, it'd be different because I probably wouldn't do a channel at all. I don't have a channel. But if I'm doing it to help someone else out, it's more manageable and I'm more likely to do it.
I mean, you nailed it. I mean, we're here to get more subscribers, right? And,
Yeah.
you know, that's always a dream. You know, we want to make sure that we shout out everybody that supported us, you know, to get to the 2,500 subscriber mark. I think we're knocking on the door of 26, right?
Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah, we're
you
at
know,
2590.
yeah, we cannot thank the people who have supported this platform since we started this project, including the people that continue to support the platform where we haven't been as consistent as we would like to be. Now, could you imagine how happy would you be, Captain Paul, if we had 320,000 subscribers?
Bro, I'd be over the moon. That'd be perfect. I mean, if we had that big of a following and we kept up, yeah, I mean, that would be a great base to have, honestly. Like 300,000 people. Like, that's more than arenas. Like, that's a lot of fucking people. That's a lot of human beings. When you put shit in perspective, right? Like, that's more than, like, that's like shit. TD Garden, I think, holds around 20,000 people. Like, that's like multiple arenas full of people. So it's like you got to kind of take that in perspective. So yeah, 300,000. While to some people, well, it's not a million. That's a lot of motherfuckers. Like, that's crazy. You know.
In the future, Cap, I would like you to use arenas that people have heard about, such as Madison Square Garden.
Who?
This is evil. If this channel had 320,000 subscribers, how would you feel?
Oh, it would be wonderful. I could really like start to put my feet up, but not really. Hey, actually, I don't know. They would be wonderful, but I know at that point we would need to go into overdrive. Like, it's not like you have 300,000 and now you could sit back and relax. No, that means it's more work. But I think it's more motivation to do that work because you have so many people who said, I like what you guys are doing and I want to see more. So,
right.
It's a great
So
thing.
we're going to talk today about somebody who actually has 320,000 subscribers. Okay. This is a content creator. Yeah, you are always the star of the show. Okay. This is a content creator who you are somewhat familiar with, which is one of the reasons why we wanted to have you on for this conversation. From the content that you've seen from this guy, what is your opinion of the content he does?
I think he's a really funny dude and also very knowledgeable in MMA. Like, when you first watch his videos, you think, oh, this is just like, you know, a comedic take on MMA and he may not know what he's talking about. And then you really listen and the dude knows what the fuck he's talking about. And you can see that he's really into the fighters and the stories and he puts his own comedic take on it. He has this persona of, you know, the Mexican martial artists that he portrays really, really well. I enjoy his content.
Yeah. And, you know, there actually became a time where a video would come out and I'm like, I'm not going to watch it until Mrs. Evil comes around, and then because she's probably not going to be that happy if
You watch it without me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So, this guy has a lot of good content as far as how an MMA fan would appreciate a content creator from a comedic standpoint, right? Now, Cap, when I sent you this video, what was your first impression when you looked at his content overall?
Well, so I'll be very clear. I never even heard of this guy before because, as you know, I'm not super into MMA, UFC things. I'm just not. I don't mind watching the occasional fight, but when I watch the content, I mean, when he talks about UFC and he has his bits, I think it's pretty good. I think it's good content. When I watched this video, though, I kind of had a different take on it. I think. I don't want to go too far ahead, but I think for a guy that is in a very blessed position, I think maybe he's not in the best mental space right now. That's kind of one of my main takeaways from this, because for somebody that is so fortunate to have such a large and big fan base, I don't know, just it seems like he's pretty down on himself overall.
Right. And, I want to make it clear too, right? To kind of, I don't want to say devil's advocate, but more in the defense of this young man here. We talk a lot about, especially people who aren't wealthy, we talk about how money only solves money problems. And in this context, you can take that same principle and you could say that, having 300,000 subscribers will not make you happy if you're not already happy. So we don't want to disrespect the man's struggles as we go through here. So this is not a diss video by any means. The only reason why we're talking about this guy is at least two of us actually like this guy, and this video had an effect on me.
Yeah, I mean,
so we're getting into it.
It's my first time watching the video, so yeah.
This is take 5 or 6. I don't know. I keep saying stuff that I regret, and I keep revealing too much about my new job, and I keep realizing that if I say certain things, I sound like Boogie 289 28999 2829 Boogie 559. I just feel like someone in my position, it's real easy for everything you say to sound like you're complaining or like a victim, but that's also not fair, because it's like you can't say anything then, because I feel like someone in my position, no matter what you say, if you just try to talk about how you're feeling, that's what it's gonna sound like, and people can be like, oh, shut up, stop acting like that. But then if they're in the situation, then they're gonna want to talk about how they feel, and everything's gonna sound like complaining and victim mentality also. So it's like you can't say nothing, or what? It's just, people are like so self-centered, they can't handle someone else having feelings, or they just be like, shut up, you just want sympathy. Nobody has empathy. I'll just say this. I've seen comments when I'm at work or whatever, just, hey, where are you? What happened? Grandmaster. I finally found a place that was willing to hire me. I have a full-time job. Crazy hours. The hours it's a different shift every single day. The hours are all over the place. Never had a job like that.
Cap, you have a lot of experience in working crazy shifts while trying to be a content creator. Like, how difficult is that?
It's very hard. I mean, even before the tugboat, when I was working at the oil farm, and I'd be doing like 60, 80-hour work weeks when I was doing the whole gaming stuff, like it takes a toll on you. It's trying to find that energy to make content while you're working full time, and even on the tugboats, as you've known throughout this project and other project while working. Dude, there's times you just, you don't have enough energy even just for yourself. You just like go home and sleep. So when you're working long shifts, odd hours, and you're not kind of able to get into a routine, it's very difficult to make content full time and at least make very, good quality content. You could probably get in front of a camera on your phone and just start babbling, but can you make quality content? The number of uploads, unless you get an editor, they're going to go down.
Yeah.
I'd like to pitch in something that I noticed. I taking a couple of notes because my memory is crap. I want to make sure I don't miss something. I think what people also need to consider when it comes to content creation and also juggling another job, whether it be full-time or part-time, and he alluded to this, is the culture of the job. And the content that you are producing before you get a new job might have to change based on the new job that you get. And he kind of mentioned something like that of would people complain or be upset, or he has to watch what he says based on the new job that he has. And this new job that he just got, which seemed like it was very difficult for him to get, and he was happy that he got it, the culture may not be one where he's able to produce the same type of content that people are used to seeing. So that's a pretty important piece, and I don't know if his viewers picked up on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that has something to do with it. I think that some companies ask about your online presence and things of that nature. Some of them even go to illegal means to ask, for your social media accounts and passwords even, which is absurd.
Yeah, never do that. Never do.
But I think that I'm not sure if he would have to change his content style or anything like that for this particular job, but it's one of those things that I had to accept when I said, you know what, I'm going to build a platform in conjunction with Captain Paul, where some of the places where I may work, I will probably not be able to work because I speak up on behalf of men in society. And that's enough to keep you from being hired at a lot of places. So I knew that I was going to be taking that L. Fortunately, I never want to work for, too many more employers ever again. I'd rather work for myself.
Right.
But you do make a sacrifice when you're out there in the public and you're giving your opinions on anything. It's going to offend somebody.
Yeah.
By somebody. If I was a fucking raving, liberal, if I wanted to go work for a conservative company, I'm probably not going to get hired, and vice versa.
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of the nature of the beast. Whether I view that as wrong. People should have the right to view certain things how they view it, but unfortunately, that is the time we live in. That if you have a certain viewpoint that goes to, I would say, the opposing view of your person above you, it can have negative consequences.
Yeah, absolutely.
I tried to do YouTube for as long as I could, full time. Didn't work out. I got a family. I'm in. Stupid dad. Had to just grow up, do the right thing. I just kind of have like no incentive to even think about YouTube right now or try to pursue it. Like the only reason I'm here is because I know there's like a 1% crowd that actually is concerned, that actually does care, and I just want to be like, hey, I'm alive physically.
I would like to say, just want to quip, it's not really fair for him to say that because this video got over 25,000 views, and that is roughly 9% of his base, right? It's not a 1% thing, and there are more views in this video now than when I watched it originally when it was at 25,000. So I just a lot of times when you're in the throes of depression, something I'm very, very, very familiar with, we tend to take a lot of situations and then we put a negative framing on those situations no matter what it is. And you can take winning the Powerball, a $2 billion Powerball, and make that a negative thing.
Yeah, I mean and then you look at the statistics. Oh, everyone goes broke or goes bankrupt after the power. But yeah, if you could look at pretty much any situation negatively, and if I'm looking at him right now, like 25,000, I don't know what it is right now. I know when we were talking on the phone, it was like, dude, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of individuals coming in and watching. And, you know, I would argue, I mean, look at the title name of the video. It's just a bunch of letters. He probably would have had more views if he labeled it something different.
Yeah.
And if you look at his catalog, he gets a lot of views on his videos. It's not like this guy has a dead channel by any means.
Right, and I would be remiss if I didn't remind the viewer how excited we would get if we had a video that had that many, because we have a couple of them. How exciting is it every time we pass 1,000 videos on a 1,000 views on a video, much less 25,000.
Yeah, it's all about perspective. It really is. You're being thankful for what you're getting.
So I'm working a lot of hours. Even when I was uploading, I mean, the numbers weren't there. So I mean, numbers don't lie. It's like, okay, why am I even gonna try to find a window here and there to make a video? It's just gonna tank and just make me feel worse anyway. It's not gonna be worth it.
Yep, the negative framing.
And then I ended up, I never talked about it, but I did like a Theo Vaughn. A few months ago, I signed with some company, and they said they were gonna do this and that, and they're gonna help me with that, and they're gonna do this and get me on that. And so I signed with them, and they take 15 or 20% of all my AdSense now, all my revenue. I can't remember how much it was.
I remember when they used to take 70%.
And the channel was already like in trouble at that point, just like not doing well with the algorithm or whatever. Maybe it was just me. So I was like, can't get worse. Plus, the only reason I signed with them is because they had like an original content something branch. They had like an arm that was like, I was like, oh, I could do a show with them, because they had produced some shows, and I was like, I'll do a show. I'll let them know I have some ideas, and they're like, oh yeah, we're not doing that right now, and whatever. And they said they could do some other stuff, and I was like, all right, fine. I didn't do anything. They did stuff that like they didn't do a single thing that I didn't already know how to do. I just never cared to do it, because I knew it wouldn't do anything, it wouldn't make a difference, and it didn't. But they're taking like 15-20% from everything I do now. So now on top of everything, it's like, why now every time if I even make money, they're gonna take a cut of it anyway just for doing nothing. And like even more reason to just not even feel motivated to upload. And I know you're gonna see this, and I'm not necessarily like coming at you. I'm just saying, you know, I shot myself in the chancla. I knew. I'm not stupid. I was just like, it can't get worse. I know what.
I get what he's saying. He understood, because he's probably in such a bad mental headspace, right? And he's just looking at anything to jumpstart his channel. You know, in his view, jumpstart his channel. He signed with something that he thought maybe could kind of like push him to a certain degree. I genuinely mean this as someone that's had a lot of YouTube channels with various levels of success. Never sign with an MCN. Never sign with these big networks. They'll promise you the moon. Oh, we'll have you on Jimmy Kimmel late night. You know, like we'll promise a bunch of shit that won't happen. You know, I've had when Maker Studios. I don't know if you remember that, Evil, but when Maker was around.
I have PTSD from Machinima.
Dude, getting out of some of these contracts, it was like, you know, it's just a little rough. But that's you don't. But when we were doing it, it was a necessity. It's not a necessity anymore to get monetization. You do not need a middleman. You really don't need an agency. And there's something I have to kind of touch upon here, right? Because I really want to look at the numbers. He's saying like he's struggling, right? But just a month ago, 47,000 views. Then 40,000 in Piero. Israel, 46. Some shit name I can't pronounce, 43,000. Michael Bisping, 23, 45, 91,000. Sean Strickland isn't as dumb as he looks. Like 2 months ago, he's getting some good traction, and for what his channel size is, that's not bad. Like if he was getting like
10%, right?
Right. It's depending on the channel, it's like 5-10%. You want to try to be around 15 if you can, but when he covers. Yeah, when he covers the actual sport that his channel's named about, the views are good. Where he sees dips is when he goes outside of what his main demographic subscribed to him for. That's kind of what I've noticed as a trend when, you know, we were kind of preparing to make this video. I think because he's in such a bad headspace, he's not realizing in his blessings, like he could go make a UFC video and possibly get like 80-90,000 views. And if he stays dedicated with it, maybe not everyday uploads, I'm not saying that, you like, we've seen even friends of yours like Lewis Rossman completely reinvent themselves when their channel was kind of, you know, stagnating a bit, and completely turn around, and you look like a lot of his videos 200,000, 300, 400,000 views. Like, it's all about the mentality, which I think it's harder, it's easier to say, you know, than do, because he's kind of going through it. But if you stay in that constant negative headspace of like, oh, get no views, no, like you're still getting like tens of hundreds of thousands of views a month. Like, be thankful for that audience, even with your irregular upload schedule. You know, like if we got that amount of traction on our videos, we would be beyond happy with that. That's just, it's, you gotta, and it's like I said, easier said than done. You gotta change your mindset and try to pull yourself out of that rut. Because if you're just gonna do a self-pity party, which we've all done at times, it's just gonna be a vicious circle, and then you become, like he says, Boogie, I think of like Wings of Redemption. You become a Wings of Redemption where you're just so sad, you're like, nobody wants to watch your content. And I'm not saying that's what he's gonna do, right? But I'm just,
you're talking about EDP. I was like,
no. It's like it's some YouTuber that like it was a whole different video we could probably make on that. It's a story of what not to do in life. But you know, I think quite frankly, you know, just dude, you have 28,000 people that watch this video. Dude, you're in a good spot. 28,000 people clicked on that video and said, "Oh, I want to see what's going on with this guy."
Right.
You know?
Can I comment on the financial perspective though? Because he did mention that he is in a crazy amount of debt. We don't know what that number is, and we don't know what crazy amount of debt means to him in his own context. So, you know, everyone has their own context, and I could at least speak from the perspective of sometimes getting lost in the numbers and just seeing the red, where you kind of spiral into this panic mode, because I have experienced that, and Dr. Evil has had to be sort of my sort of like guiding, you know, chill out, everything's okay, because I've had my own financial panic attack, not publicly, but where he's had to put it in perspective for me of, yes, these debt numbers are high, but you are not in the same hamster wheel you were in before. So while I like looking at the numbers to see where I am, I sometimes forget the perspective of where I was before. And I don't know if he has someone on his side to let him know that maybe you're not in the same hamster wheel you were in before. Of course, we are talking on the very limited information we have about his personal life and his financial situation. But it sounds, you know, I can relate a little bit in that point of, oh shit, I'm in so much debt. I just need somebody to help me. And now these people who are supposed to help me are taking money. So how much money am I not getting? And you just, I that could be a lot.
I can understand that when you're not going to get help. And I'm not trying to overly criticize him because I don't think he's in the right headspace. But when you sign anything to a company that with false like you got to be, like, I gotta have something to write and saying like, all right, this is what you're gonna be contributing every single month. You're gonna be getting this type of engagement on my channel, and if not, like, then you don't get a certain percentage cut. Now, I mean, that's just more of an idealistic contract, which probably does not exist. But I do agree. Like, sometimes people get lost in that headspace of like, oh, well, this debt and this debt and this debt. I can understand dealing with depression and stuff like that. I mean, you know, just recently what happened with my mom and her cancer diagnosis, it's rough, right? It's like you get into a bad headspace. I think, quite frankly, content creation helps me kind of, you know, bury that, you know, just bury myself in work and try to get through it when I'm making stuff on the hockey channel. But I think if you just only look at the negatives, it's like a vicious circle. You'll never get out of it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's if you want to, and maybe this is just my mentality, you can feel sorry for yourself, but feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to fix the situation.
Yeah.
You know?
I'll add to this as somebody who's been in that dark headspace. So you can see it in his body language, you can see
Yeah.
it in his countenance, you can hear it in his voice. I've been in that place so many times, and one of the things that I have to keep reminding myself is I have a lot of questions, and because I have the questions, guess who is the worst person to go to for the answers? Myself.
Yeah.
And so we don't know how much he's leaning on his family. We don't know who he has as mentors. But when we get in that headspace, we very quickly want to clam up and deal with our problems by ourselves and not burden anybody else with our problems.
Yeah.
And it's really important to make sure that you do have a network of individuals that you can trust to talk about a lot of the things that you are dealing with. I mean, if you even look in his background, you can tell that there's not a whole lot of pride in self at this point, because the room that's normally kept up and he normally has a pristine background, that is not what we're seeing here.
Yeah. Fair point.
MCNs are, everybody knows by now, don't ever get mixed up with them. And the fact that you made it a point to say that you weren't an MCN is even more of a red flag. No, we're not one of those. And then when I added you to the channel, it even said that you're an MCN. But and I'm not gonna pull a Theo Vaughn and say their name and everything, because I don't have like legal representation. They'll probably get me for slander and stuff. So whatever. You could keep taking you could take 20% of the $400 I made this month or last month. I don't even know. And then even if I did make contents, like I don't want to be Ariel anymore. I don't want to be another Ariel Hawani. I don't want.
For those who don't know, I mean, we have our loyal MMA fandom here, but for those that don't know who Ariel Hawani is, Ariel Hawani is a member of the MMA media, one of the most respected voices, one of the longest term coverers of the sport. Worked for Fox and ESPN, and he has the MMA Hour, which is very popular. He interviews a bunch of fighters. He is known infamously for constantly clashing heads with Dana White Power Slap. Ariel Helwani has been covering the sport for a long time, breaking down fights and analyzing things. He's also known as the Nose. I don't think you're really familiar with Ariel.
No, I actually do know who Ariel is. Yeah, I do.
I do, but the Nose.
Yeah, he's known for Yeah,
he's known for his abnormally large nose.
Okay, I hadn't heard that. But yes, I know.
It's even part of the branding of the show.
No, shows how much.
Shout out to Ariel Hawani. Cap, you were gonna say? Sorry.
No, I've heard about Ariel. I think actually you can play the video more because I'll have more to kind of expand upon once he kind of says it.
Yeah, gotcha.
If
want to be a dude that makes his living off of talking about other dudes. Yep. I think that's so pathetic to make your living off of talking about the great things that other great people have done.
Now, I've got some criticisms for that.
Me too.
You want to start? Yeah, I'll let you start.
I mean, like, listen, man. Like, can we not pretend like whether you hate him or hate him, dislike him, whatever. Like Stephen A. Smith, the hairline himself, right? Like, he made a complete profession.
What hairline?
Exactly, hundreds of millions of dollars just talking about athletes. We have a ton of analysts doing the same thing. We have channels breaking down fights like he's done in the past, right? Making a boatload of money, right? It's not that you're talking about other people's greatness because you're not great. You're just using your greatness in a different avenue, right?
Did you know Did you know Stephen A has a podcast now where he's talking about celebrities beyond sports?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk, you know, if you think talking about athletes is pathetic, you're talking about fucking celebrities now?
I mean, but that's that. I think a lot of it's due to his headspace. Him talking about a fight, him breaking down a fight, him making a comedic sketch about a fight. That's not a bad thing. That's not like something less than. Because unless you are a creative that's able to make something completely original, which, you know, hate to tell you, even in Hollywood these days, it's all fucking, it's all just rehashed bullshit. You know, it's, quite frankly, it just doesn't exist. It really doesn't. It's very, very rare to have a completely original idea, right? And that's where I feel like he's like, oh, that's so lame, that's so pathetic. I'm like, dude, use the talents that you have, the God-given abilities that you have to engage your fans, the big audience you have. That's how you make your own greatness, and then you become a bigger name in this scene. And that's, I understand some of it is because of where he's at, depression-wise, most likely. But I don't know, that's such a bad take on him. Like you're not less of a person for talking about another athlete. That'd be like me, right? I break down hockey games, break down hockey players, teams, and stuff like that.
Man.
Yeah, it doesn't kind of make any sense if I'm talking about the game.
But you know,
I mean, I'm not you, but if I'm talking about the game and I'm talking about like particular players' performances, dude, that's kind of in the realm of sports conversation. I think that's what he needs to realize. It's not, you're not less than because you're talking about another person winning or losing a fight. I just think
people
that's,
appreciate his perspective. You know, you have that many subscribers and that many views because people want to hear what the fuck you have to say.
Yeah.
It's
and how long did
optional
you
to
think
put
it was
the video.
pathetic?
Did I think it was pathetic?
No, I'm saying you do all of these breakdowns for how many years, amassing over 300,000 subscribers. At what point did it start to feel pathetic?
Yeah. That's actually an honest question, because if he's thought this for a long time, then I mean, maybe he shouldn't be making the content, but I think it's more just the depression speaking, if I'm being honest. You know, I don't think I think it's more like self-esteem issues than him actually probably thinking that if he was in a better space.
Right. And the thing is, like, I'm going to come at it from this angle because you did steal a little bit of my thunder, Cap, because you went where I was going with that, right? If nobody covered professional sports because it was pathetic, then who would give a fuck? How great would what they'd be doing be?
That's true.
If nobody watched and nobody cared.
No.
Right?
True.
You have 320,000 subscribers that say that they care about MMA the way you care about MMA. Now imagine if there was no Ariel Helwani. Because in effect, he's saying that Ariel Helwani is pathetic. In effect.
Yeah.
ESPN is pathetic. Fox Sports is pathetic. Canada Sportsnet or whatever.
Yeah, Sportsnet, TSN. Yeah,
TSN. Right?
Yeah.
You know, we got to come at the Canadians too. We can't just be
can't do it. They might be friendly, but we got to go at them too, you know?
Right?
We're going to hear this on Saturday.
But the thing is, if nobody wants to be pathetic by his by his standard, then professional sports wouldn't exist at all. And the thing is, we're talking about people playing a game. We want to talk about the greatness of other people. These guys they get into a cage to beat the shit out of each other. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, we're not talking about commentating over somebody finding the cure for pancreatic cancer. You know, like, you know, it is a recreational thing that people enjoy, and it's a fun thing for people to add analysis and or a debate about, which is why ESPN had that flood of debate shows for hours on end before that became tired, right?
Yeah.
Because people like to talk about sports.
Yeah.
Right? So I was gonna go where you went, but yeah, you know, this is the depression talking. And it is really important when you're going through these depressive episodes, which I've had many of them, Mrs. Evil can tell you. You have to remind yourself that your brain is telling you lies. Every negative thing that your mind is telling you, maybe 5% of it might be true, but most of it are the chemicals those chemicals that produce that negative feeling, or the absence of the chemicals that produce the positive feelings, it's lying to you, and you have to continue to keep telling yourself that to have a chance to break out of it.
Yeah.
It's lame. Your whole day is just researching and watching and predicting and breaking down a bunch of other dudes. That's sketchy.
I'm sorry, that was funny.
And I know people were trying to be optimistic and positive and everything that comes in.
You know, women fight in MMA too, guys.
I mean, I'm thankful that people liked the way I did it. It means a lot to me. I put a lot of work into it, and it feels good to know that people liked it.
So how is it pathetic, sir? You just laid out all the reasons why it's not pathetic.
Yeah.
But I think that's post. I think he went through that negative feeling just in that moment. That was a very raw moment, and then went back to the logical. Where now he has to remind himself, no. Actually, there is something to be thankful for. I think we just saw that cycle.
Right. Yeah. Really tight cycle too.
Mm-hmm.
But just objectively looking at it, it's a pathetic, meaningless feeling day to day. Just like watching and studying other dudes.
There's nothing objective about your
and
feelings,
their fight
sir.
records.
No.
And their guy
Feelings, by the definition,
and how many
are
times
subjective.
They cheated on their lady, and how much they got paid for this fight is voyeuristic. It's weird. I don't want to be paying that much attention to other dudes. I wanted to make stories and characters and situations, just make people laugh. I wanted to look at a blank page and just feel it with my own creations, not be like, okay, let me watch this. Okay, round 3. Let me watch all this. Okay, got it. Everyone, now let me tell you everything that happened. What? They could just watch that video themselves.
Yeah, but that's not why people. I mean, that's why not people digest content. Like, there's a ton of different sports, like NFL, basketball, hockey. Like, you can just watch something yourself, right? You can watch an old Michael Jordan game in the final with the Bulls winning its 6th ring, right? But having somebody break it down in a certain format, either comedic or informative, where you have documentary style stuff, it adds a production level, and it kind of maximizes the entertainment value. I'm not saying those games alone by themselves aren't entertaining, but a person like him adds an extra layer to make it more fun to watch and more fun to digest. And I think that's what because he's in this headspace, I don't think he's grasping that right now.
I don't think he is. He wants to make this original content that's just 100% his own, but he's not recognizing that while he's using the MMA content, he's using that stuff and having to do the research. His own spin on it is original. That's original. That's his own. That's his story. You know, that's his production. And I don't think he recognizes that. At least not right now.
And the thing is, the criticism I have of that take is they ain't a single piece of art that's original. Everybody gets their inspiration from some other prior art out there, be it a life experience, be it your observations, the music that you've heard, movies that you've seen,
books, anything.
Right, like there's nothing new under the sun.
No, I mean, you got a black Snow White now. Like, let's shout out.
I'm good. I'm good on that.
And we hit play.
Shit.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good on that. Also, I want to say this one thing. That was the thought I was going to have, right? From his vantage point, we could watch UFC fights. Could you imagine if there was no John Anik, Mrs. Evil? No Michael Bisping? No Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Could be better. No DC, Daniel Cormier?
Yeah.
No other DC, Dominic Cruz?
Yeah. They
Paul
add
Felder?
something to the fights. They add to the fights.
Right.
Not just the fight themselves.
Because we all watched the fight, but we all watched them by themselves. It's not the same as, yo, did you see that?
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well get rid of all the production. All you hear is just guys like just hear a bunch of dudes hitting each other.
Now that's suspect. Here
Yeah, that's sus.
Yeah, that's us.
Oh god.
Oh, did you see that low, the outside calf kick and just the
No.
slap? Oh,
Yeah.
that you know.
Someone please
Oh,
save me.
fucking Brunson with his laying on
no.
shirtless men,
Or he
it's
puts
sweating
out
on
his
them.
chin.
Yeah,
Please punch me there.
yeah, like, oh no, that is sus, right? But that's not what we're there for.
So I did that video that I put out. Apparently, I saw before I went live, before I recorded this right now. It's been a month. It's been exactly a month since my last upload. I uploaded that video because I wanted to do something like put it on a platform, make a movie, make a show. Didn't go the way I hoped.
I do want to say something about that, right? And again, you know, this is a message for content creators, man. How many times have we made videos, Cap, where we're like, oh my god, this is the greatest fucking video we've ever made,
Yeah.
and then we get 33 views on it? What is that like?
It's annoying. I mean, there's videos that we've made together and then separately. Like I've made some videos on the hockey channel. All this is, dude, higher production quality. I think it's gonna be dope. And then like some shit that it like took me a few minutes to make because I was like, oh, in the moment, that gets like 40,000 views. Like it's just the nature of the beast. That's just
Right.
YouTube.
Does that mean that like you should give up and you should just like not make content anymore because this one thing that you thought was the greatest thing ever just didn't hit?
I think no, but I will say this, all right? Because if I'm gonna be critical, because I'm just being honest here, I'm not as familiar with this guy's content. When I watched the UFC stuff, right, just for reference, I thought it was engaging. I thought it was good. When I watched some of the skits and stuff like that, like him in making a video in 2005 style, I thought was kind of hit or miss, not really great, not like it. If he wants to make original content, comedic sketches, I think he should make a secondary channel. If I'm just spitting game, being honest right here, that's what I think would be best case. If he wants to get his creative juices like that and kind of write and practice, he'd be better off like, hey, you want to check out some of my comedy, check my second channel out. I don't know how many subscribers to get off that. Maybe he'll get like a few thousand, whatever. But if he wants to practice comedy chops and like his writing chops over there, that'd be fine. But on his main channel, they come for the MMA, UFC type content, right? So like when you start producing and releasing content unrelated to any type of the fighting stuff, right? That isn't like anything about the fights or anything about what's going on in that world, of course you're not going to get the same type of energy regarding it. You're just not. You know, it's very unusual unless you're known as like a creative on YouTube. He's kind of typecasted as himself as a UFC MMA guy. He's got to kind of stick in that lane, but he can make another channel and have an offshoot if that's what he wants to do. But I don't think that some of the content he's made like recently really kind of meshes with what his core audience subscribed to him for.
Right. Absolutely. I want to give two examples of this. One of them you do know, one of them you probably don't. Okay. Ms. Evil, let me know if you are familiar with this YouTuber that I watch somewhat, you know, off and on. The channel is Nick's Strength and Power.
It doesn't sound familiar, but if I saw a video, I probably recognize it.
So Nick's Strength and Power, I think his channel started out like powerlifting and like fitness stuff, and then it kind of shifted into more of the covering the world of bodybuilding. You know, covering shows, covering updates, you know, he's almost like the gossip blogger of the bodybuilding world, to the point where he's gotten to know, you know, top level bodybuilders. I think the guy that won the 212-pound division, he actually like knows personally, and I think that he added like $5,000 to his prize money for winning, and all of that. Do you know he has a third channel called Nick's Strength and Pokemon? I kid you fucking not. He's like, listen, this is very different content.
Mm-hmm.
from the other content that I do, but yeah, I like Pokemon. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so you see this super manly guy who's on gear, who's a bodybuilder himself, who's all deep and steeped in all of this hyper masculinity. I mean, if you want to talk about hyper masculinity, there are very few places in the world more masculine than the bodybuilding world. Okay. And he has a third channel called Nick Strength and Pokemon, where it's just about Pokemon cards and trading card, everything that's trading card related, right?
13.6 thousand subscribers on the channel.
Right. And the thing is, where do you think that he got those subscribers from? Most of them from his main channel, but he didn't like, kind of stub his toe putting that content on, because then if you know that someone's gonna be putting up fucking life stuff and Pokemon stuff, when you just want to see who's gonna win the next Mr. Olympia, you're probably gonna tune out on that guy.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
But he got 13,000 people. If we had 13,000 subscribers right now, I'd be happy. He got 13,000 people who were able to look past all of his, visible masculinity and then still subscribe to the third channel.
Right.
Right? And I'm pretty sure his first Pokemon videos were not that entertaining. And that's what happens as content creators. Your very first videos are gonna suck. You could start content creation today with all the prior art that you could ever want to see on the best content creators, and then you start your channel, your first video is going to be trash. Guaranteed. Right?
Yeah.
I'll give you my second example, and he is a friend of the channel. JD from NY206.
Yep.
Right? Now, we talked about this. Actually, we were talking to JD on the phone yesterday, and we were talking about how he was able to make the transition from the Call of Duty world, the gameplay commentary and the game streaming, and then shift into becoming a full-time wrestling podcaster, right? Like you mentioned to him, hey, you did that early enough where you weren't typecasted to the point where you have over 100,000 people looking for Call of Duty content, and now you're talking about Randy Orton, right?
Yeah.
So out of nowhere. So he also has a second channel called More JD from NY. And do you know what he has in that channel, Cap?
No.
Pokemon card openings.
That's crazy.
Now, I love them, right? But when he goes on, he did a live a pack opening. What was that? Like last week, because I was still recovering from the Rona, so I had a lot of time to watch YouTube. And normally he has anywhere between 2,000 and 7,000 live viewers on his wrestling podcast.
Yeah.
That motherfucker had like 74 people in his Pokemon stream on his second channel.
Still good though.
Right, exactly, right? Like, it is a fun thing that he wants to do on the side,
Yeah.
right? It could be something that, he could become the main Pokemon card guy in the world and get 1 million subscribers and then dump the wrestling stuff. But he knows he can't do that in this particular situation under these circumstances. He makes the second channel, just like you said, Cap.
That's because you don't want to flood your audience. I mean, we talked about with the hockey channel, because it's called The Locker Room. Initially, it was going to be every sport, but then when I started just consistently releasing hockey stuff, because it was just really kind of me making the content,
and you're kind of
like,
a bitch too. You don't want to cover baseball. I mean, come on, man.
I mean, listen, I have an offshoot for that channel that's going to be happening, but like I think, like quite frankly,
but it's a different channel though.
Yeah, it's a different channel. You got to kind of separate it, because if you don't, it's just going to piss off your viewers. Like, I'm not subscribed to this shit. Unsubscribe.
Yep. Absolutely. Ms. Evil?
Yeah, I agree. Second channel. It's from this perspective, it's a little hard for me to give an opinion on, or something that I think would be really valid, because yeah, I do some videos with you guys, but honestly, I just sit here and talk. When it comes to the actual like research and background stuff, you guys do the heavy lifting, like I help you with managing stuff, and if there are deadlines, or making sure we're along a certain plan or path. But as far as the real like heavy lifting goes, you guys do that. So I'm gonna go with what you guys say.
Right. And the thing is, I just also want to reiterate, it's kind of disrespectful to himself to talk about how pathetic it is doing this, that, and the third, and then in the very next sentence talk about all the research and all the hard work and all the editing. And you know, I talked to Captain Paul about this yesterday. There and Mrs. Evil, you know that there are a couple of content creators that I like specifically for this one thing. Whenever they have their sponsored content, most of the time I fast forward through them bitches.
Yeah.
Right? The top tier creators and MMA, Grandmaster, if you ever watch this, I need you to pay attention to this, okay? From a viewer's perspective.
Yeah.
Okay? I do not fast forward through his Ridge Wallet commercials or whatever fucking shit he's hawking.
He does them really well.
He does them really fucking well. Everybody else, like, I love Donut Media. You know, I like to watch Donut a lot.
Yeah, I
I
watch them too.
fast forward through every single one of their commercials, almost every time. And they do a decent job, but I'm gonna fast forward through their content, the sponsored part of the content, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Rich Rebuilds, a friend of Louis Rossman's, right? I almost never fast forward through his spots because he makes them super fucking entertaining. He actually weaves it into the fucking content where you don't want to skip it.
It's seamless.
It's seamless.
Yeah.
And Grandmaster here is one of the better content creators where I don't even fast forward through the Ridge Wallet stuff because he does it so well. No, that's not pathetic, sir.
Yeah.
And then since then, I emailed a couple people like, hey, would you be willing to like sign off on this? Be like executive producer, maybe help me out here. Maybe kind of like vouch for me, you know, because people like it. I got some people looking at it. They think it looks cool. They think it's funny, but like I've never done anything at this level before. They need someone's name on it so that they could sell it. Crickets.
That's a painful thing, man. I hate to keep stopping it, but excuse me. That's a very painful thing. And a lot of times people could take this kind of stuff personally, Cap, but you think that you have put so much effort and you're like, wow, I know that millions of people are going to laugh at this, or they're going to cry about this, or they're going to be super pumped and excited about this. And you go to whoever the top level is, it's like, listen, you're not part of this cartel. And then you find out the hard way that the best content does not make it to Hollywood. The best content doesn't make it to ABC or NBC or CBS or Fox, right? Like you start to realize that you already know that it's more about the people you know than what you know. And he's taking it personally, like nobody wants it. It was like, dude, the best content out there has never been seen before by anybody. And that's real. And you have to be able to keep fighting through the stuff like, oh, they didn't take this idea or what have you. A lot of great ideas don't take.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if you think about the first John Wick movie, they were only going to do one movie. They didn't expect people to gravitate towards the film series the way that they did. I mean, they had a stunt guy. They had a guy that does stunts directing for the first time. Right? And you know, they had a low budget. And you know, they didn't know what to expect from it, but they did it. They thought they were just going to do it for fun, a one-off, and now we're talking about John Wick 5 on the horizon.
Yeah. John Wick Resurrection. Yeah.
Basically. Still watching it.
Oh fuck yeah, right?
Yeah.
He comes back on the third day. Crazy.
And the thing is, when is a John Wick film ever going to win an Oscar? When? But that's not the fucking point. The fans of the movie series like the movie series, and that's all that matters. And Grandmaster, I gotta tell you, man, you the fans, like, they love what you do. They want to see more of what you do. You know, your retention rates are around 28 to 33%, sometimes higher. You know, like, you know, life is not that bad.
No.
Oh, I thought the lady was about to sit next to you. I was about to say, uh-oh, special guest.
Nah,
Special guest.
I'm just sitting back here now. So.
All right. Yeah, remember, guys, he still is recovering from that hip surgery. Okay.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm still here. Wherever that is. I don't know. I don't know if it's over. I would love to make a movie. I would love to make a show. I'm so sick of breaking down fights.
I mean, we do it to a fucking audience of 8 people. And we still love it anyway, right?
I don't know.
Shout out to the Filthy Casual crew.
I wish I had something that was more informational, or that had more of a clean tag on it, like here's what's gonna happen next, or here's the plan, or here's something to look forward to. But I don't know.
I know you've been there,
After my
Cap.
third and fourth take of this, I was gonna walk away and be like, forget it. I'm just done. I won't upload anything anymore. But I don't know. I think I'm gonna upload this one. I just feel like I'm still leaving stuff unanswered. I don't know. I guess this video is just to let you know, like, nothing happened to me. I'm still here. For whatever that's worth.
It is important to people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not easy to get people to press that subscribe button. They actually care about you when they hit the subscribe button.
Like right before I uploaded that last video a month ago, and I
Should have bought the
DJIs.
DJIs.
We're gonna start doing a bunch of stuff. We're
Those
gonna
little
be
mics.
all over YouTube.
Mhm.
We're gonna make a bunch of skits and stuff, and that was a waste of money.
Yeah, I don't like the defeatist attitude here, Cap. And I know you hate it. I know you hate it, Cap.
I absolutely hate it.
The reason why I hate it is because it's not like his Rode microphone's broke, right? It's not like he still can't make the fucking skits he wants to make. And like you said, if he makes a second channel that says, hey guys, I really need some support on this, you know, this comedy writing, television show, movie writing, whatever. I got this full-time job, but I'm gonna be grinding on the side to bring some original content. I might be taking a hiatus from this because I really want to focus on this. Please come over. I made a second channel, and I really want to work on this. And then he could still use those microphones and still build a following. And then he might have 2 different types of following, where there are going to be people on the original channel that know him for the MMA, but then there are going to be people that know him only for the comedy stuff. And the comedy guys get on YouTube and kill. It's just that you have to stay consistent. He has the material, he has the mind for it, right? Now, from Captain, your perspective, because I didn't see the skit that you were talking about, but you said that it didn't hit as hard as the comedy didn't hit as hard with that as it did on the MMA side?
It sucked. I believe keeping it real. Like, I've had people where I put my heart and soul to a project and they just say, yo, it sucked. Right? Like that's just, you know, you're going to learn and you're going to improve. But the problem is, like you said perfectly. The first few videos when you're doing a completely different style and you're not relying on any like additives of like MMA, UFC, it's just strictly comedy. You're going to have to get your chops. You're going to have to get your licks in there and see like what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But no, it sucked. I'm not going to sit here. I understand he's depressed, but I think, quite frankly, I would be doing him a disservice to say here, oh, I just sat there. That was a good old fucking knee slapper. No, it wasn't. It wasn't very good. But I do see in the UFC videos where I thought there was some good comedy in there. I think he has it in him, but he's got to realize, like, I just hate this, like, I stepped away from YouTube for years because I had health issues and I had a lot of shit going on. So I'm not trying to be, you know, completely not sympathetic to a situation. Or insensitive, but I guess I'm going to call him off a little bit of his ass. Is like, just, you know, dude, you have 300,000 subscribers. You would probably get at least a few thousand subscribers on your sketch channel. And then you're able to build up and get an organic audience in that aspect. You had 28,000 people click on that video you didn't even fucking title.
Yeah.
Like, you don't tell me there's not probably at least like 5 to 10,000 motherfuckers that if you made a video that wouldn't just hit subscribe just because it's you.
Yep.
Where you have a leg up on so many different content creators. Like, he could make a new channel and lap us like in a fucking day. Right?
Absolutely. That's the first thing I thought.
And it's like, so I just, the whole like pity party, all the road. Well, like, you know, grab your nuts, check if they're still there, and realize like, yo, like, you have a golden opportunity that people would die to have.
Absolutely.
Die to have that. So like, stop bitching, right? I'm not trying to be completely, I actually fucking, I'm being an asshole here because I don't believe in the self-pity bullshit. Stop bitching, get to work, make a second channel, and work at your craft. That's it. You know, like, you can still do stuff if you're working long. I work crazy hours. You know, I've worked a ton of crazy hours. I still make content. Like, just, if you want to make content, you will. Just the pity party stuff, like, I don't know, just that's where you kind of start losing me. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
You know?
Ms. Evil.
So.
And I think for him, from what I'm interpreting here, it seems like Plan A didn't work for him.
Yeah.
And I think for probably most of the people on planet Earth, Plan A doesn't work.
No.
You know, at all. And we figure out something else. We pivot. And if you are in the proper headspace, you try to recognize where or what's working right now and capitalize off of that. So my hope for him would be that, yes, Plan A or Plan B didn't work for you. You're not making movies or TV shows or the type of content or in the way that you wanted to make it originally, but it doesn't mean that what you're doing now is not successful. And there needs to be an appreciation for that coming from him. I mean, he has stated it, but I don't think he really recognizes or appreciates the stuff that he's already put in. It's not a movie, but it doesn't mean that it's less than. Like, he's putting out good shit, and there needs to be some self-recognition there.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a step further than what you just said and say that it's not even that Plan A and Plan B didn't work. They fucking worked! Plan A worked. You got 320,000 subscribers. And the more popular UFC gets, the more popular you're going to get. So your Plan A didn't stop working. You're just going through a little bit of a lull period. UFC in 2023 has not been great. We have not seen the great fights, the jaw droppers that we saw in 2020 and 2021. We've seen really bad judging, bad refereeing, bad fights. So when things get better, it's not that Plan A didn't work. And not only that, Plan B didn't fail yet either. You just started, guy.
Yeah.
Just like Captain Paul said, that first skit, probably not that great. However, we know that you have the brain for it. We know that you have the comedic timing. We know that you know how to use the things that are that the gifts that you have to make people laugh of all backgrounds, right? Like his MMA stuff coming from kind of like that, you know, that vato, you know, that California Mexican, you know, type approach, right? That doesn't just resonate with, you know, fucking Southsiders and Norteños or whatever, right? Like people everywhere like his content from his point of view, so he could make original comedy work. He can make it work, but they didn't catch on to your first video, and now you wasted money on equipment. That is the part of the pity party that kind of moves me more towards, you know, Captain Paul's position. Like, yo, dude, I'm an empath. I definitely feel where your pain is coming from. However, oh my God, goddamn, I really cannot listen to this when you didn't even really try. You went to a couple of people to pitch one script. Right?
You know how many script? You know, I have to say, not to cut you off. You know how many writers have their scripts just outright rejected, and they write hundreds, stolen. They'll write hundreds of scripts and never get that film, and then maybe on the 500th or the 1000th one, it finally clicks. Right? It's a lot of work. It really is. It's not just a one little thing where, oh, I worked for a month or two on something and it didn't pan out. I hate to tell them, like, there's a lot of people in the writing association that I don't know if they're getting paid anyways right now, that would die to be in a situation where they had like such a massive following and then practice the material. So then maybe the next script he pitches, he's like, well, maybe that was a little flat and I can improve from here.
Right.
You know?
Right. And the thing is, when you think about all of the people that are out there trying to make art, and then you realize that only one movie comes out or two movies might come out on a given weekend, and then 3 weeks later another movie comes out. Do you know how many ideas are out there that just never get out there? Like, why would you think your first script, your first test screening is just gonna run away with everything? That's not even realistic.
No. Well, except Tyler Perry, everything hits for him. It's just the same thing.
He owns his own fucking studio, so he doesn't have to go to a fucking executive producer. He can do his own thing.
I was being sarcastic because it's the same movie over and over again. But I think, of course,
he's a man that, emasculates himself, and America loves an emasculated black man, but that's another story for another time.
Keep it rolling.
Oh, fuck off.
Ooh.
Look, I'll tell you this. I don't know if there's anything that will change my mind. I really don't enjoy making breakdowns and predictions at the moment. The thought of it just makes me feel sick. But I will tell you that if there's any way, and some of you will be like, oh, no, I'm out then. And okay, that's fine. But some of you will like it. If there's any way that I could make a show or make a movie, I'll do anything I mean, short of going the Harry Weinstein route. If there's anything I could do to make that happen, I'm gonna do it. I'm not like, I give up, it's over, I'm done, I'll never. If I could make a movie or a show, I'm gonna do it. Here and there, I've emailed different people and tried to ask if they. And I'm not just doing it like cold calling people. Like I've gotten I've contacted a few people that I think like specifically like really would have an interest in it. I've heard back from a couple, didn't go anywhere. Others I haven't heard back from. But if there's any kind of little glimmer of hope I could give you as far as like what the future holds, if there's any way that we could get the movie or the show off the ground, that's what I would be passionate about. I have so many ideas. I'm always just like texting them to myself. I have so many ideas.
There goes your second YouTube channel. Like exactly what Paul said. Then it becomes your portfolio.
Yep.
Like you can't just sit there and go, oh, I want to make a movie and make a TV show. That's great. A lot of people want to do that. But having a second channel becomes your portfolio. Here is why my movies would be great. Here is why my TV show would be great.
It's just, this is the problem, right? I understand he's passionate about it. Let me lean up here in my sippy chair, lean up in the broken hip, and just kind of speak here. Quite frankly, creating a second channel would be perfect for him. Mm-hmm. He would allow to kind of flex, practice his things, and mind you, this is something I have to warn him. This honestly, Hollywood people don't take YouTubers seriously. They don't. They do not take it seriously.
Unless you're Mr. Beast.
Unless you're building wells in Africa like Mr. Beast, yes. Like we
gotta talk about that.
We will soon. But like for me, quite frankly, they don't take it seriously. Mm-hmm. And you might have a few connects, but like I know the secretary at like EA, are they gonna like make adjustments to Battlefield? You know, they're gonna make me in there. Like I'm just being real. Like, you might have some connections and they might kind of string you along, but the reality is that you don't have those connections to hire up people to really get a script. Like, you need to kind of build your work. Like, if he was smart, in my opinion, do the second channel, get your stuff off the ground, and then if he wants to work in Hollywood, like, go work in Hollywood. You know, whether how negative I view Hollywood. Yeah, like I view as Hollywood as a bunch of Satanists, evil human beings. but honestly, like, you could go work in Hollywood and get your, like, you know, pay your dues. It's not just going to be given to you in life. It really isn't. Like, I had things in life, like, as you know, with my maritime stuff, like my licenses, you know how many times I had setbacks due to health and other shit that I'm like, oh man, I could have been a captain by now. I could have been this by then, like when I was like 26, 27. But like, dude, that's sometimes life just doesn't pan out how you expect. You're going to have to put in the work if you want to see that come to fruition. Everybody has ideas. Remember, like with Papa Thunder, dude, I had an idea for that for like a show because it was like a crazy character. I had ideas too. I'm not sitting here saying like I deserve a movie script. Like, that's not how the world works, man.
No.
You know, and I think
especially not Hollywood. And you know how many people, and I know this is going to sound real crass, but that's what we do here. This is the home of the cold truth and the hot take. You know how many people have had to suck a fucking old ass wrinkled cock?
I was just gonna say, you know how many people had to go suck a dick, like an old wrinkly liver spot dick,
just to become an extra. Just to become an extra to get paid $40 a day.
I mean, listen, like, you know, Kevin Hart had to wear a dress to kind of get in some feature films. Like, let's be honest, there's some weird stuff that goes on in Hollywood. But yeah, like,
I mean, he mentioned Harvey Weinstein, right? He called him Harry Weinstein. You know, he mentioned Harvey Weinstein, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, do you know how? I mean, honestly, if that dude made what the average man made, how much pussy would he be getting?
Who? No, zero.
Right?
Zero. Yeah.
Yo, you know how many times this dude has had his fucking baby batter swallowed raw by some of the hottest women on in the history of planet Earth?
Yeah.
Good thing it's at the very end.
And you think that you're just gonna get your and the thing is, you could have the greatest fucking content known to man. But if you're not the friend of a friend of a friend, That's how the world works. I've been really talented at certain things in my life, right? And the thing that I was marginally talented at, I ended up getting, making a decent amount of money. I'm much better at what I do now professionally, but back when I met some of the people that I was working with before, I wasn't nearly as good as I am now, and I made pretty decent money. Do you know why? Because of the relationships that I forged with other people. It had nothing to do with how good I was.
No.
The world does not care how good you are, man, and you're a grandmaster. Like I said, love your content. If you ever watch this, this is not a diss video. This is not a diss podcast. But you're a grown-ass man. You have to understand that the world works a certain way. You were able to kind of cut the line and find success in ways that most people never find success. What, Cap, and I think we talked about this yesterday, the percentage of YouTube channels that reach 300,000 subscribers. It's got to be less than 1%.
It's got to be less than 1%. You know how many channels on here that would, literally do anything to get on like that?
Yep. And
it's
the thing
crazy.
is, I remember when you had like 2,000 subscribers, you had that dude, that famous car guy, subscribe to your hockey channel, Val or something.
Yeah, Scotty Kilmer. Scotty Kilmer.
Oh, I was thinking Val Kilmer.
Val Kilmer.
Wrong Kilmer, right? But the thing is, if he would have continued to keep doing the Mexican martial arts and continue to keep doing his thing and keep serving up them Ridge wallets, who is to say that somebody in PFL, Bellator, or UFC, I guarantee you that there are people in the UFC that watch his content. And if he would have just continued to keep grinding, made the second channel, put the fucking content out there, somebody could reach out to him.
Yeah.
Right? Jesse on Fire, which is a very, he's very connected in MMA circles. He helped out the Indian Jesus. If you look at like the branding and all of that stuff, Jesse on Fire paid for him. Back when the dude had less than 200 subscribers.
Yeah.
Right? Like, the thing is, you continue to keep growing relationships. You continue to keep honing your craft. I mean, what's that guy? Quentin Tarantino. Listen to his stories. Chad Stahelski, the guy that is behind all the John Wick stuff. Listen to these guys. Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his first acting gigs, I think, until after he had been to prison. I think he was like 40 years old.
Yeah.
Now he's one of the greatest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not everybody is a fucking child star, and nobody, fucking Leonardo DiCaprio, with fucking Rose not moving over. You know what I'm saying? Like, move over, let him get on the door. All right, right? Like, not everybody's Leonardo DiCaprio. You know how many years Amazon was in the red before they turned a profit?
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta pay your fucking dues. When me and Captain Paul made this, how many times did you want to quit? And I had to keep reminding you, Cap, dude, we're not looking to make money today or this year or next year, or even the week after, or the year after. We're here to make the best fucking content and let come what may. The money will come later, as long as we stay consistent and we keep at it and we pay our fucking dues.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it takes time. And mind you, and I'm not sitting here that frustration can't set in. I'm not saying it to be perfect. I understand that. But
We've both been frustrated with this project.
But I mean, shit, like, bro, it's like, I understand, dude, with the hockey channel, right? I'm like, yo, like, why am I not at 10K already? Why am I not at this? But then, like, you got to just take a step back, change your mindset. And that's what I've done over the last, like this last financial year for me. Like, dude, I lost $100,000 in wages. Like, I had a shitty fucking year, and it's getting shittier. But, like, I'll be honest with you, Dude, it's life, man. You're gonna have fucking life punch you in the stomach, punch you in the face, kind of like, you know, a good old dick twist, right? So occasionally, you know, you're just
Fucking Dwight Howard in your life, son.
whoa. No, you know, life's gonna kind of, you know, throw you curveballs at times, but you're gonna have to deal with it. And if you just give up, like, you'll never become anything.
Right. And
You know?
and the thing is, again, you know, I don't want to be too overly critical of the Grandmaster of Mexican martial arts.
That sounds so racist every time you say grandmaster. I get uncomfortable. I kind of gotta cringe.
Yeah. I know that he is just kind of going through his emotions here, but there are a lot of lessons to be learned for everybody. Obviously, this is a men's focused channel, and we know that the world is constantly reminding us of what reality is every day, right? As men, we don't really have a lot of space to be delusional. Now, I think that for somebody like the Grandmaster of Mexican martial arts over here, you can become a little bit entitled when you become super popular, really at the first thing that you try. And then you think that, well, I'm so good at this, or I'm so respected at that I should just get all these opportunities and they should just keep rolling. And, you know, I've got this, and, you know, Ridge Wallet, they contact me, and Raycon, they've contacted me. Well, you know, there are levels to this game, and if you would just stick with it, you're going to reach the next level. People do not know this, and I will keep fucking saying this, but Mr. Beast and Sneeko were on Thunder's community channel.
Yep.
Trying to get seen so that they could get on Machinima. These motherfuckers were trying to get on Machinima, Cap.
Yeah.
They wanted to get on Machinima, and they're like, yo, let's go to you know, Thunderstruck Gaming and, you know, Thunder's community channel. You had a video on that channel. I had a video on that channel. Well, Sneeko and Mr. Beast did too.
Yep.
They weren't looking to just like blow up like immediately, right? It just so happened they stuck with it. It was difficult. It was a lot of work. And if I am mentoring or coaching the Grandmaster of Mexican martial arts, you work that fucking full-time job and you make that fucking content. I mean, do you think that he's gonna love working at that full-time job? No. But if you don't love doing the fucking breakdowns, make them anyway. Use that money, the 85 or 90% that's left after the MCN fucking scrapes off the top.
I'm gonna bend you over.
Take that money and then put it into your film projects and produce it your goddamn self.
Yep.
Right? Like, you can work the full-time job, you can still make the content. That's one of the things I really respect about our guy Lutch over, you know, the Indian Jesus. The dude is still struggling, and the dude is still working his full-time job, and he's still, you know, making content, doing live streams, putting out videos, and just beating YouTube in the face, shadow banned and all, and is still fucking grinding this shit out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you gotta respect the man that's like that, and I hope that the Grandmaster here can, you know, come back and be the great content creator that he always has been. I mean, we're only making this video because the guy is relevant, you know, and he's relevant for positive reasons. And I think that sometimes it's very easy to lose sight of those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, you know, I feel bad for the guy. I feel bad that he's in the position emotionally and psychologically that he's in, but he needs to let that rational brain take over. You got to let that rational brain take over. And, you know, oh, you got $400 from it? Fine.
400 more than you had before.
Right. Take that $400 along with that other money that you are making at this, you know, if he had to work really hard to get a job with a bad schedule, I'm pretty sure he hates the fucking job, right? And that's probably why he had to do a fifth take, because he didn't want to talk about how fucking awful the job he took is, right? Because then he might lose his job, right?
Yeah.
You're doing that job anyway because you know you have to, right?
Yep.
Make the fucking breakdowns. Continue to write your scripts, continue to make your short films. Continue to keep doing this because eventually something's going to break. Somebody in the MMA world, and you see all the fucking celebrities that are at UFC fights, right?
Yeah.
You know, somebody inevitably knows somebody else that knows somebody else that will get you in front of somebody, and you'll be able to make something.
Absolutely.
One day that's going to be us here on TSP with your help. Please make sure that you share the content with other people. As you guys already know, this is the home of the cold truth and the hot take. You know.
Yeah, honestly, if you want to help us make more than $400 a month, we have a Patreon linked down below in the description. With one little subscription, one little fee to Patreon, we can feed Dr. Evil Genius's family because it is very important, to get his gains in protein. Because without protein and muscles, he's fucking useless. So,
You know what's really sad, Cap? You're right.
Oh shoot.
Oh my God, we're going to hell.
No, fuck. Bye. Fucking.
Oh my God.